Good morning, everybody. My name is John Sheridan, and I'm the head of roofing here in Sika, Ireland. I want to welcome you all to our presentation here this morning, and I thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us. Before we begin our presentation, just a few little bits of housekeeping. Firstly, all microphones will be muted to avoid any background noise which may disturb the presentation. And secondly, we will leave the question bar open during the presentation so that you can upload your questions. And then we will have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation where we will answer as many of your questions as possible. So, on with our presentation. Our learning objectives for this morning include a little bit about Sika, an overview of who we are, also an overview of the packages and the systems that we offer to the market. We also want to look a little bit at how Sika can objectively help you with your project. We'll also talk about our industry-leading guarantees. We'll also talk about certifications and the very important Safe to Torch certification for all bituminous torch-on systems. We will look in detail at the SikaBit Pro system, which is our new hybrid APAONEW SBS system, which is unique in the market. We will also talk a little bit about the surveying service we offer and how we can help you to survey your building. And then we will look a little bit at some of the on-site issues which crop up on projects and look a little bit at some good practice and some bad practice. And at the end of that, we will follow it up with some questions and answers, where, as I said, we will answer as many of your questions as possible. So firstly, an introduction to Sika. Sika is a worldwide company. We had a turnover in excess of 6.8 billion euros in 2019. We're present in more than 101 countries across the world. We manufacture products and solutions in over 200 factories across the world, and we have more than 20,000 employees working in Sika. In Sika, we have a number of key target markets and competencies. So just a brief look at some of those and the other types of systems and products that Sika can offer for building projects. The newest one is building finishing, and this is where we supply a range of specialist renders and finishing coatings which can be used internally and externally. Concrete, where we supply a full range of concrete admixtures to local concrete manufacturers, including specialist concretes like watertight concrete and high-strength concretes. Waterproofing is where we supply a full range of underground and structural waterproofing products for basements and all underground structures. In target market flooring and coating, we supply specialist flooring systems for the high-tech, pharma, and food production sectors, as well as car parks. We also supply a full range of fireproofing and intumescent coatings for structural steel and concrete. Refurbishment is where we supply a range of renders and mortars which are used for the refurbishment and rehabilitation of existing concrete and steel structures. And industry is the one that's not involved in construction, obviously, and this is where we supply a range of specialist adhesives and sealants to the automotive industry, mainly car building and bus building. And finally, roofing, where we are most interested this morning. And under roofing, we have a number of distinct brands and product offerings, all operating under the umbrella of Sika Roofing. So within Sika Roofing, we have a number of different product lines. We have our single-ply PVC and TPO membranes available through our Sarnafil and Sika Trocol brands. We have a full range of liquid applied membranes through our Sika Liquid Plastics brand. And now, recently, we have our new bituminous membranes marketed as SikaBit. And we have recently acquired new technology in this bituminous area, namely Bitbau, a leading Austrian company in bituminous membranes, KVK in the Czech Republic, Index in Italy, which has the largest bituminous membrane manufacturing site in Europe, and Arcon in Romania. In Sika Ireland, we also have a full roofing sales team that covers the entire country. And you can see these contact details on our website where you can get in contact with your local person in your area. We also have Stuart Murray, who I'll introduce you to shortly, who's our new business development manager for our new bituminous systems. In addition to that, we have a completely separate applications area where Ben Kavanagh and Donny Buckley look after all of our training, roof inspections, and sign off for guarantees. So a little bit about the Sika package. You know, what do you get when you get Sika? Well, firstly, you get an unrivaled range of options. Secondly, you get objective advice and the best recommendation for the best system for your project. You only get quality and trained and approved installers. We only deal with trained and approved installers, so you know that your roof has been installed by somebody who's been trained by Sika. Your project is inspected and supported throughout the project by our applications team. And then at the end, you get an unrivaled range of guarantees. So in one word, you get full confidence for your project. So now I will pass you over to Stuart Murray, who's our Business Development Manager for Bitumen, and Stuart will now take you through the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, John, and thanks to everyone again who's taken time out of their diary to attend this. My goal and aim is to take you through the new SikaBit bituminous system and to show you the Sika service. We are proud of this system and we feel it's the benchmark level in the industry. So the design consideration and best practice. Again, the key word that we use today is objective, and that's being able to be objective and give the best advice for the appropriate waterproofing solution system. And we need this to get us some details. So the best practice is having the ability to be objective and selecting the system and what is the building itself and perhaps what's the design life for the building. And that comes into refurb or new build. Depending on what the building will be used for, how do we approach Part L and what impact will it make? Are there acoustic requirements for the building? There may be specific planning requirements that will determine, for example, that the building needs to blend into the environment that has been constructed in a sensitive location. You will also appreciate that during and after construction, there may be a high level of traffic, so you might expect to have a very robust waterproofing system to adequately protect the roof and the building. So most importantly, when designing a project is to get through at a very early design stage, and that becomes the interfacing details and thresholds at an early design stage. So you've got numerous system choices and building use types, and that's where there's going to be a new build or refurb, whether it's going to be a warm roof and what type of insulation we're going to use, whether it's warm, cold, or inverted. We're also looking at, is it going to be a ballast and what is the roof finish? And that's going to be green, blue, even ballast. And does the project need to have an aesthetic finish? So what are our Sika solutions? So we've got numerous systems available to us. So we're here to talk about the SikaBit Pro bituminous systems, and that's a range of torch-on and heat transfer or self-adhesive systems. There can be acoustic, green, lead, factory mutual, which I'm thankful to say is in testing, and data centers. We've also launched a new SikaBit Pro Melt hot melt system, and that's typically used in inverted, podium, and green roofs. We've also got the SikaSIRN, Trocol, TPO, FPO, and PVC systems, which you're very familiar with, and they're acoustic, lightweight, lead, factory mutual, data centers, stand and seam, and they're mechanically and adhered systems. You're also familiar with the SikaElastic liquid apply systems, and their PU, the PMMA balcony systems can be used in warm and cold roof. They're also used as detailing, which can be used across all our systems, including the SikaBit system. And then we finish off with green roof systems, and they can be both intensive and extensive systems to incorporate either a sedum, a wildflower, or a brown roof. So I'm going to open an open question, and hopefully as the slides go on, I'll be able to answer these in more detail. So what do you expect from a manufacturing partner in terms of service? So when we sit down and we have a consultation process, we will then be in the best position to write a project-specific technical document and specification. This helps reduce the old adage of a copy and paste specification. They typically leave themselves open to interpretation and ultimately change, gives you greater control. This, of course, is open to all our system types from SikaBit, SARNA, and liquid plastics. And this can be written on multiple system choices throughout the one documentation. So SIKA offers invaluable input also, and this is where we assist in terms of our drainage calcs, our U-value calculations, and our wind load calculations. Again, it's available for all our systems, and it forms part of our PI, professional indemnity responsibility towards that project. This removes the extra work for you, and it puts the onus on SIKA. We've got huge emphasis on our specialist contractors training and upskilling. This is very important to us. We have a dedicated centre in Ballymun here in Dublin, and we have the ability to concentrate on project-specific detail and also to ensure continuity when delivering a project. We always invite along main contractors and architects if they're more than welcome to come, and it helps build confidence and brings clarity, especially when you're doing site inspections and joint visits throughout the portion of the job. Inspections are a very important part of our service. Not only is it important for the specialist roofing contractor to show progress on site and to show that they're installing the system as per specification, but it's also important for the client, the architect, and the main contractor. But more importantly, it's important for us. The site inspections actually form part of our record process and enables us to offer the specified guarantee. So what is the guarantee? So we offer the highest level of guarantee that covers from 10 years all the way to 25 years. Depends on the guarantee, but we offer full system product guarantee. We offer a comprehensive workmanship cover. We offer design cover, PI cover, as previously spoken about. We offer consequential damage cover, insolvency cover. We offer this because we have a global presence for over 110 years. So it's a single source of responsibilities. It's all under one guarantee. This is also applicable if you have numerous different system choice. It's all under that one responsibility, that single point guarantee. As you would expect from SIKA, we've got full certification across all our systems. Factory Mutual, or FM, is available across our single ply and lamb range and has one of the largest assemblies available. We're also very glad to say that we've started the process now with the SikaBit Pro Melt, or the SikaBit Pro system, towards Factory Mutual, and that's going to be coming soon. Sustainability and innovation forms a key part of our ethos here at SIKA. Reducing our carbon footprint and recyclable material help us in this area. It helps push our capabilities and innovative roof choices, and they could be green roof, a cool roof, or a PV system. Again, another open question, and hopefully in the next coming slides we'll be able to gather some information and answer this for you. But have you ever specified or installed a torch-free system? And are you aware of where they should be used? So back in July 2017, the National Federation of Roofing Contractors published a Safe to Torch guidelines, and this helps put specifiers to put safety first at design stage of any roofing project. So typical areas where it is not safe to torch, and these could be timber deck, which is a combustible deck, i.e. a plywood or OSB, hanging tiles, thatch roofs, roof-like curbs, but especially confined spaces is one in particular, and that's care to cavities and walls. Window sills, especially in refurb, where it could be an existing timber sill, and cladding again, where you've got exposed cavities, can be problematic. Again, the guidelines on where to use a safe to torch, and they're going to be on louver vents, air ducts, intakes and outtakes, timber, DPCs, sarcasm membranes, all the way even to plant extracts where you could have coated in oils and fats, and then plastic curbs, domes or pipes. To comply with safe to torch best practice, a self-adhesive system or membrane must be used in areas of 900 mil at these high risk zones. They must be accurately installed, and in order to guarantee the safety and security of the installation teams, the occupants of the building, and again, the building fabric. As you can see in the photograph on the right hand side, in the green areas is where you can use a typical torch-on system, depending on the roof deck. But the red zones is where you must look at a safe to torch best practice. To highlight that it is the 900 mil identified torch-free zone that we're looking to comply with. And again, if you look at the blue and black lines, this line needs to be extended and enveloped with the insulation and the curb itself. So this takes us on now to the SikaBit Pro Bitumen Systems. There's numerous system types as you expect. The most typical one would be the warm roof system, and that would take you from the deck of choice, from a VCL, insulation, underlay and cap sheet. That can be turned upside down to an inverted roof system where you have the roof type, typically a concrete deck, underlay cap sheet, and then you'd have an XPS insulation, and then you would have a protection layer and ballast of choice. Again, podium as well, a trafficked area. This is going to be your deck type. You're going to have an underlay cap sheet, a drainage board, and the finished substrate. But again, you could be turned over to the hot melt, the new SikaBit Pro Melt system, which is used primarily in an inverted roof system. Again, it's going to be the hot melt Pro Melt system. You're going to have protection layer, XPS insulation, drainage layer, and then the finished type. Again, another open question to keep this as interactive as possible. What are the important factors you look for in a system, and in particular the cap sheet? And this brings us on to the new SikaBit Pro cap sheet. There's two membrane types in the marketplace. It's APP or SBS. Both have their own unique qualities in terms of performance. SikaBit now have come out with a new version of bitumen membranes where we don't just use one type of modified bitumen, but instead we use two. It's a hybrid membrane. The upper surface is APAO, and it also incorporates a robust triple reinforcement within that membrane. Other systems only use a single layer of reinforcement, but we have a triple layer, and this is an inlay of fiberglass mat compressed between two layers of non-woven spun polyester fabric, and the bottom surface is an SBS modified bitumen. So by incorporating this technology, this means that the capping sheet will outperform thicker, more expensive membranes because of the technology built into it. It will last longer because it's better able to resist extreme temperatures and weather, and it resists UV degradation and thermal shock. So again, the upper surface is APAO modified bitumen. We have the unique triple layer reinforcement, and the lower surface is the SBS modified bitumen, which is increased elongation and close stability. So while accelerating aging doesn't always show how the membrane looks after a large number of years, it does show how the membrane will react to two certain subject changes. And I want to throw our eye on the two, and that is thermal shock and UV stability. As you can see in the image on the left-hand side, the SikaBit Pro outperforms both the APP and SBS after 800 cycles. And one cycle on this is tested at 4 hours of UV rays at 60 degrees Celsius and 4 hours of condensed water. So UV stability is extremely important in the composition and makeup of the membrane. UV degradation is extremely common and plays a large part when identifying issues and breakdown of systems. This is very identified when you're doing a survey on a roof. So thermal shock is another testing. Thermal shock occurs when there's a change in temperature that may affect the performance of the membrane. Coupled with the movement and differential movement of structure and the building materials, this will impact on the membrane. And again, as you can see on the image on the left-hand side, the SikaBit Pro outperforms both the APP and SBS, and this is after 1,000 cycles and remains dimensionally stable. Fire building regulations. We've experienced a large number of inquiries in the last 12 months regarding fire performance. So Sika, with all our systems, are common build-ups of the membranes like Sika, the Sarnafil, Trocol and Liquid Applied are tested to BS 476 Part 3 standard. The approved document B, fire safety, contains a minimum guidance for demonstrating the fire performance of roofs when the fire source is either an external or internal to the roof construction. So essentially what you're looking for when specifying the minimum standard you should be looking to specify is a B roof T4, and that's for unrestricted use. To follow on from the safety torch, we also have a self-adhesive underlay and self-adhesive VCL. This includes the process is very quick, it's clean, it protects the installation immediately from the elements. We also have a full system available in a full torch-on VCL and underlay, and of course performance cap sheet. Insulation forms a key part of most waterproofing systems, and there are various system types available that can be specified and used. PER is usually the most thermally efficient. This means a thinner board to achieve a given U value towards that project. This is good for the environment perspective. It has 0 ODP, which is ozone depletion potential, and is below 5 GWP, which is a global warming potential. It also gets an A+ rating in the Green Guide for most waterproofing systems. We also have that available in taper systems, which has create flow rates towards our roof and take onus on the drainage. And vacuum panel systems are also used, but typically in critical areas in balconies and low thresholds where heights are problematic. Mineral wool is also available, and as you know, mineral wool is a volcanic rock with added coke and limestone. It's known as stone rock, rock fibers, or mineral wool. It has a superior fire performance and also it sounds. But when specifying it, you have to look at it's heavily, but it reduces compression strength as well. So it's not always the easiest option to implement into a project. So we've got numerous system types within the SikaBit Pro Melt system now. So the SikaBit Pro Elite Plus system. This is our full 25-year system depending on the project criteria, and that includes the new T940 cap sheet. We also have it in the Pro Acoustic DB system, where it includes a decibel rating for an acoustic performance on a roof, and that be done in a metal or concrete deck. We have the Pro Elite system, which is a full SBS system. We also have the Pro Enviro Green system, and this is a typical green roof build-up with a grout inhibitor cap sheet. We've also incorporated a new data center system, which includes an SRI, Solar Reflective Index rating. And then close to launch now in July, we have a Pro Mono BMS system, and this is a vapor management system. It's a single layered cap sheet that incorporates vapor dispersion technology on the underside. So coming now to the last section of this, so we pride ourselves on our expertise, and I'll ask the question of, do you survey the project yourself, or would it be beneficial to bring in an expert, i.e. Sika? So refurbishment and surveying is a huge important element of just about all our projects, especially on refurbishment. So what we do and what we take is we detail the roof survey and we auction an appraisal towards the client or the architect. We tailor the specification and we detail as well for design input. We partner them with a trained and approved contractor who demonstrate competence and expertise in roof and refurbishment. And then as the project goes on, we monitor the installation through that application team. And we offer the single point guarantee covering all our products and installation. The next couple of slides, I'm going to take you through typically how we do a survey, and we go along, we get invited to the project, and then the client or the architect or the roofer identifies where they're having issues within that project. We then go along and we ascertain the roof build-up. That's incredibly important to us. This is done on several ways, but mainly it's done with a core sample. That enables us to identify the deck, the existing build-up, what the insulation type is, whether it's tapered. It also allows us to moisture probe the roof and allows us to see, is the roof applicable to an overlay? Is there too much moisture? This is done on multiple locations throughout the roof to see has the roof changed or grown over the years, and it's fully sealed afterwards. We then come along and we photograph the key elements of the project. And these are key issues that interface details are identified at an early stage. So these individual details may actually impact on the system choice that we're able to put forward on the project. We nominate and we list the roofs that we've surveyed. It's all documented and put back. So the project is specified and according to its projects and its findings and its criteria. The architect is assisted with all the technical elements, and that's from the wind loads, the U-value calcs and the drainage. The roof and specialist contractors are supported through the tendering process. We then take the project to site with on-site inspections and a full stock management locally. The project is delivered and signed off with the guarantee. So why is site inspections important? The next couple of slides are taken from my experience over the last 11 years from manufacturing and in the contracting world, and they help identify where good design is key at an early stage. So as you can see the photograph on the right hand side, it's a typical prefabricated pipe detail, and that helps eliminate poor detailing and errors. Unfortunately, the photograph on the top left, and that's a real life photograph, someone tried to use the word bodge the detail. So that's a plastic bag wrapped around cables coming through the roof. They cut a hole open in the bucket and even took the time to bring ballast up onto the roof to hold down the bucket. Ingenious design, but not one you'd recommend at Sika. Again, forward planning of services to achieve the finish. This is evident in poor planning in the hatched area on the photograph on the left-hand side, where cables and services are brought through an upstand detail. Incredibly difficult detail to try and finish off now, where you have polythene which has been siliconed down, and then cable ties holding the plastic in place around the cable. But again, early design to know where these areas are coming through so you can incorporate prefabricated detail. The photograph on the top left, to naked eye, it actually looks like it might be an acceptable detail, but unfortunately it's completely incorrect. I'm not looking at the lead detail or the capping detail, but what we should be looking at is the field cap sheet being brought up the upstand as one solid piece. This is a complete no-no. It should be done as a separate flashing to stop any differential movement between the two substrates. As you can see in the photograph on the right-hand side, that's how a detail should be done, correctly done. A sole piece in the gutter, separate flashing pieces, and a consistent bitumen bead. So this image on the left-hand side, as you can see, was taken on a roof that was 4,000 square metre and only recently finished. Over the 4,000 square metre, I would say about 5% incorporated a bitumen bead on all our side laps. Completely known. You could actually tear up the side laps on all the membrane. The bottom right, even though it's taken during site and it might look untidy, but the care of the detail, especially with a white cap sheet, is impeccable. And that just shows the quality on the workmanship that we're looking to achieve on all our projects. Again, a separate flashing should be used on all your detailing. The photograph on the top left, again, they brought the field area right up the curb of a roof light, which is a no-no. The detail being done correctly and executed on the bottom right shows the correct way of detailing a roof light. Again, care of the detail and setting out is important when looking at a detail. The top left image, which will be the final one I'm going to show you, is a gutter detail done on a large project where they've brought a whole membrane roll from a 1 metre roll to an 8 metre roll run in one continuous run, all the way through the sole piece and up the upstand. As you can see, there's no bitumen bead evident, and that lap can be completely pulled up. The image on the right, thankfully the contractor has thought out, it's well set out. It's a staggered gutter, but still allowed to have flow rates and a solid piece down the sole gutter. And thank you very much. And any questions you might have in the Q&A, please forward them through, and I'm going to push it forward now to John, who's going to conclude this presentation. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Stuart. So in conclusion to our presentation this morning, I suppose from Sika, you can expect proven quality. As we said during the presentation, and as Stuart has showed in the photographs, the licensed, trained and approved contractor system is massively important to making sure that you get the project that you require. Our on-site monitoring and guarantee procedure means that everything is checked on-site before the guarantee is issued, which gives you peace of mind. Obviously, we have a long track record in roofing here in Sika Ireland. We have a problem-solving engineered approach to surveys and specifications. We can call on our global experience from our colleagues around the world. We have an environmental commitment in terms of partnership with a number of green roof suppliers. And we are a single source solution for all of your requirements for your roofs. So we have some questions here which have been loaded, and we will try and answer your questions now. We have a few moments to take. So the first question here, Stuart, I'll pass to you, is do you supply and guarantee all the components, including the insulation?
Yes, we do indeed. As I said, outlined earlier on, all products that are supplied by Sika are covered within the guarantee, and that includes the insulation. That includes all insulation types as well as outlined in the previous slides.
Okay, another question. Who decides if it is a safe to torch zone or not, and who is responsible for this on the project?
The responsibility comes from the design team. We will be there to provide assistance and advice on where they should be used and what system should be used within that, but ultimately it is the specifier that's responsibility for it. Okay.
Another question here. Why should I specify your SikaBit over traditional SBS or APP systems in the market?
As outlined, the SikaBit system is a hybrid system, so it's an APAO and SBS system. So it outperforms both the APP and SBS systems in the marketplace. So that's probably the main reason is the outperformance of both APP and SBS.
Okay, another question here. What colour choices are there for your mineral finish?
The main one is going to be black, is our black mineral finish, and at the moment we're going to incorporate a new white one, which is going to be able to tailor into our SRI, our Solar Reflective Index white cap sheet. Okay, and I see another one here which is sort of slightly related. Is your white mineral finish LEED accredited? It is indeed, yeah, and a Solar Reflective rating as well on it. I think it's 106.
Okay, let me see. We have some other questions. Yeah, what life expectancy does your hot melt have?
The life expectancy of the hot melt system wasn't in this presentation, but it is the life expectancy of the building use. So it's for the entire building use, which is up to 60 years.
Okay.
That's very big.
Is there a charge for your surveying service?
No, there's no charge for the surveying service. It's FOC. All we look for is that we get to specify a SIKA system within that.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. Does existing old roof systems have to be stripped off, or do you have a system where you can overlay existing old systems?
That's all going to come down to the survey, and that's going to come down to the core sample and the test. Short answer, you'd like to strip off an existing roof, but if it's not applicable, if there's no need, if it's a good bond, it doesn't need to be done. But that's down really to the survey. That's going to be determine exactly what system we're going to use on that. There's no easy answer for that.
Yeah, we have one here as well. Do operatives require training before becoming approved to install your system? And how can this be completed with respect to COVID-19?
Yes, all contractors have to be trained up. We're currently going through the guidelines at the moment. Usually we'd have 6 people within our training centre. I think at the moment we have it at 3 within that, so we're able to keep the 2 metre zone. But yeah, all contractors have to be trained on all our systems before we push them in. Okay,
very good. And maybe 1 or 2 more. Do you have standard detailed drawings showing the different finishes and details at upstands and parapets?
We do indeed, yeah. We have a full bank of details there. A full bank of details that are available online.
And how can people get these online? Okay.
Online or get in touch with your local, either myself, Alan, Ross, Barry, or yourself.
Okay, and just one more question, because obviously we don't want to take up too much of people's time. This is the last one. How can we be assured that the system you specify will meet our project criteria?
That's down to the word that we use at the very start about being objective, of sitting down and looking at the project and the triage in the project and being objective and knowing exactly what are the key elements and criteria needed for that, so we are putting forward the best system for that.
Okay, that's great. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us here this morning. There are other questions and we will reply to you in due course. I want to take this opportunity to thank Stuart for the presentation, and also just to say we look forward to seeing you at more of our webinars in the future. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Take care.